Hello and welcome back to Higher Sense with Haz, and today we're going to be reviewing Reflection 45 by Amouage. Reflection 45 by Amouage is a woody aromatic fragrance. It has quite a lot of notes listed, so I'm going to put them on the screen for you now. This fragrance is a 100ml extrait de parfum. It's £425 for this bottle, which works out at £4.25 per milliliter, which is quite expensive. What you've got to remember is this is an extrait de parfum, which is the highest level of concentration, and the clue is in the name, Reflection 45. The 45 refers to the oil level percentage that is found in this fragrance, which is extremely high. Amouage released Reflection Man a number of years ago now, and Reflection 45 is a follow-up to that fragrance. The original Reflection Man was very clean, it was very light, it was very airy, and it was a lovely classy scent. I do own both of these, and I would say there are some differences between the fragrances, most namely that this one is richer, it's denser, and has a higher oil concentration, so lasts longer. If you have the original Reflection, would I say to purchase this fragrance? I would say yes. There's enough differences and improvements in this fragrance to justify owning both. I own both and I don't plan on getting rid of either. This bottle is one of the best bottles in my collection. It does have a gorgeous reflection on it. I'm hoping the camera can pick it up for you here. It's a reflective bottle. It's a silver bottle with a lot of colour in the reflection. It's got a lovely little emblem around the neck. The lid is metal, and did you see that? It is magnetic. Get in there. Finally, we've got a magnetic cap. Right, that's why you're paying £425 for a magnetic cap. And the atomizer sprays like this. It's a decent atomizer. Doesn't produce as much of a cloud as you may expect, and the reason is because of the high levels of oils that's in this fragrance. It's dense, it sticks to your skin. I'm going to put 2 sprays on my hand here. There's about 20 quid gone, and then hopefully I'll be able to show the camera. Maybe if I turn my lighting round a bit, that may help. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's a very, very strong oily shimmer there, and that's because of the high percentage of oil. This will potentially mark clothing, so be careful. It is a relatively clear liquid, but test it on light coloured clothing before you spray it. Yeah, it's a very, very good fragrance. It's one of my favourites in the collection, not only for the bottle, which is excellent, but the scent profile. I would say it's a woody aromatic. It's quite green in the top. It does have a touch of spices in there, but mainly what you're going to be getting is white florals and then some woods coming through in the base. Now I'm going to go on. You've seen the note list. I'm going to tell you the prominent notes in the top, the mid and the base. In the top, I would say that the notes which are most prominent are lavender, which gives a nice, clean, freshly washed kind of smell. It's very, very pleasant. And then you get the clary sage, which is quite green. It's quite aromatic, and again that gives it some lift, it gives it some zest. And also I would say that the pink pepper does come through here, adds a little touch of spice, bit of warmth to the fragrance, and in the top it's a very, very pleasant opening. The top notes last for a good few hours before the mid notes come in, and the mid notes come in fantastically. In the mid, I would say that you smell the iris, the neroli and the jasmine. So you've got 2 white florals in there with a touch of iris just to balance that out a bit. My favourite notes, jasmine, neroli, definitely in the top 5. I absolutely love white florals. Jean Paul Gaultier Fleur de Mal is one of my favourite fragrances of all time. So to get jasmine and neroli in the mid is awesome. The touch of iris as well, that just rounds the mid off for me. It's a fantastic mid which complements the top notes and adds some real body to this fragrance. I love white floral so much I'm going to have to go back in here. Yeah, that's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant mid on this. One of the best mids I've smelled. In the base you've got olibanum, which gives a nice warm, soft, slightly spicy feel. It adds a warm amber kind of touch to the base. You've also got the soft creamy sandalwood which comes through, and it gives the mid notes, especially the white florals, a lovely base just to nestle upon, and it complements it fantastically. And you've also got some cedar wood, which is, again, it's a light wood, it's soft, and it just adds to the class and the character of this fragrance. It's soft, it's subtle, but it's full bodied, and it really does exude pure class. Now I'm going to hand things over to a good friend of mine and fellow fragrance reviewer, and he's going to give you his opinion on Reflection 45 by Amouage. It's an opinion I value and an opinion I trust, so I'm going to hand it over to Big Al, the Frag Lad. Over to you.
How we doing, Haz? Cheers for reaching out, mate. So, as promised, I've got a little decant here of Reflection 45. Don't actually have a bottle, but should the opportunity arise, I'll fish that back out later. Should the opportunity arise at a acceptable price, I'll probably go for a partial. Like, never get through a full bottle, will I? But yeah, should the opportunity arise at a partial at a decent price, I'll pick it up, because I'll tell you what, man, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Differences to the original. Now, the original Reflection, man, great scent, absolutely great scent. It's not a typical Amouage though, is it? Let's be honest. It's probably the furthest removed from anything the house has released up to now. I would say soapy clean, white floral, fresh, slightly powdery, some clean woods, nice use of musks, and the traditional frankincense, incense, resinous, slightly balsamic nature of most of the releases, especially for the men, isn't really there or evident. Might be used in the composition, I can't remember off the top of my head, but if it is, it's to make up the build of the fragrance as a whole. You can't really pick it out or identify it. However, in Reflection 45, I would say it's sharper. It's got more bite to it. There is a little bit of a incensey, like, undercurrent with it. Definitely more resinous, slightly balsamic, but the nature of the wear, with it being a higher oil concentration, what I've tend to find with, especially when it's done right, if you've got an original version of a fragrance, say it's an EDP and it's like 16% or whatever, up to 20 maybe, the nature of it really is that it will radiate off you. Obviously, not as much as an EDT. We all know that the increase of oil means it sits heavier and it won't project. But when they up the oil, like extra to extrait and beyond, to do it right, they really do need to alter the composition to suit the way it wears. So with extracts, I've found that, yeah, you'll get like a decent projection for the initial like settling in period of around about an hour and sometimes slightly beyond. But once it's really bedded in, it's not about how it projects. It's about the sillage, the scent trail that you leave behind you. And with 45% oil, like, you really do leave a good scent trail. Like, it's that heavy that it's like you're leaving a breadcrumb trail of scent, you know what I mean? So what I mean by the altered composition is that usually, if you imagine that, like, in your head, how things are being, like, left behind you, a heavier scent needs to be twisted into, like, if it was a brighter composition in its original form, it needs to be twisted into a darker, more moody, slightly edgier and more rounded composition. And I think they've done this beautifully. Like, it honestly, like, 10 out of 10 for the way they've twisted it, because I see this as a darker, spicier, more rounded, heavier version of the original. And because of that, I like it more, because that's just my personality and my taste when it comes to fragrances. I do think it means that it makes it slightly less versatile, because the original Reflection, to 12 months out of the year, you could use it as a daily driver, like office safe, even casually, and formal as well. But I think with this, the twist in the DNA and the nature of the wear leans it more into evening wear, and more formal also. And you could get away with it in like early spring, you know what I mean? Like, and autumn and winter. But I wouldn't consider it a summer fragrance. Of course, you can wear whatever you want whenever you want. There's no fragrance police out there, but that's my interpretation of it anyway. A slightly darker, more rounded, and yet sharper version of the original. And it doesn't smell as soapy clean, and the florals aren't as, it doesn't give it such a powdery nature. The DNA is definitely there. You can definitely tell. Like, the Reflection DNA is definitely there. But I love the way it's altered. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on it. So yeah, like I said, thanks again for reaching out. And over to you, Haz. See you later, mate.
All right, done deal. Thank you very much, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
So, moving on to the projection for this. The projection, I would say, is 1 foot to 1.5 feet. That may surprise some people. It surprised me and disappointed me slightly. I would have loved a touch more projection. If I was sitting here saying it was 2.5 feet in projection, I'd be very happy. But unfortunately, 1 foot and 1.5 feet is what you're getting. The reason being, there's such a high concentration of oil here. It sticks to the skin. It's hard to lift off the skin and project. I am slightly disappointed with the projection, I must admit, because there's not much else in this fragrance that does disappoint. But if there was something I could change, it would be that. The longevity, however, fantastic. 10 hours plus, no problem. Yes, it's quite an intimate aura, and the sillage is quite intimate, but it will last on your skin and on your clothes forever. 10 hours plus, no problem. It'll get you from dusk till dawn, or dawn till dusk if you're a working middle-aged guy like me. But yeah, longevity, not a problem. Seasons to wear this fragrance: spring, summer, autumn. I would say spring is perfect for this fragrance, and I would say no less than, I think this is the perfect spring fragrance. It's fresh, it's clean, and it's perfect for spring. With this fragrance being 45% oil, 2 to 3 sprays is all you need. I have done a little test on this because I wanted a bit more projection. Longevity isn't an issue, like I said, so I thought, right, okay, we'll go with 10 sprays on a nice warm day. Let's see if my body can kick this off and project it. Unfortunately, it didn't make much difference, and the difference between 2 to 3 sprays and 10 sprays is significant, especially when you factor in the cost of this fragrance. And it's one thing that I won't be doing again in the future. I've certainly learned my lesson. This fragrance, it's smooth, it's dense, it's very rich, and it's a mature leaning scent. It's clean, it's classy, it's fresh, and it really is an amazing scent profile. I would say this fragrance is blended to perfection. It's 45% oil with a lot of notes, and the perfumer has done excellently to blend them so you get such a smooth transition from the top to the mid into the base. I would say it exudes quality and finesse, and it's very, very versatile. Where to wear this fragrance? I would say you could safely wear this to the office. It's not offensive, it's clean, it's classy, and people will like this fragrance. You could wear it to business meetings as well. It's very much niche and expensive enough to wear to these meetings. You could wear it to socials if you're just relaxing, especially on nice spring, summer evenings. Black tie events, this wouldn't be out of place. Dressed up in a tuxedo or a lovely suit, this would complement the wearer fantastically. I would also say that you could wear this fragrance to date nights. It's very alluring, it's very encapsulating. It'll definitely pique the interest of the person that you're with, and compliments won't be far behind. So if you want a successful date night, Reflection 45 by Amouage would be a fantastic choice. So in conclusion, Reflection 45 by Amouage. It's definitely one of my favourite fragrances in my collection. I would say it's in the top 5. It's very clean, it's classy, it's fresh, it's versatile, and it really does just smell of pure quality. The price on this fragrance could be a sticking point for most people. I'm not going to deny it. £425 for 100 millilitres is a lot to pay. I did get this upon release a few years ago with a discount code, so I believe I paid around £3.25 posted, which I thought was a decent deal. Was I happy to pay that? Yes. Once I smelled the fragrance and wore it, I was delighted with my purchase. It's a big investment, but it's a big, big compliment puller. Reflection 45 by Amouage. Higher Sense approved. Buy it. Comment below. Tell me what you think of this fragrance. I'm always keen to hear the opinions of the subscribers and watchers of this video. So until next time, this is Haz saying look good and smell great. And I'll see you in the next one.